Hello, and welcome to City Update. I'm your host, Chuck Emmert. The City of Phoenix is preparing to participate in the 2020 United States Census. The U.S. Census counts individuals in the United States as mandated by the U.S. Constitution. Here to talk about Census 2020 is Albert Santana, the Phoenix Census Director. Albert, welcome to the show.
Chuck, thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. So Albert, before we start talking about the census, tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and how you got this important job with the City of Phoenix.
Well, for me, on a personal note, I was born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona. Grew up just a little west of downtown in the St. Matthews neighborhood. Then went on to Borgate Catholic High School over on 31st Avenue, just north of Indian School. And then after that, pursued my degree at Arizona State University. So I'm proud to say that I've had a background and connection to the city since the day I was born.
Great. So people should know you're not a federal bureaucrat. You're a local guy working for us on the census.
Absolutely. When I first got my opportunity to work in the City of Phoenix a little over 20 years ago, prior to joining the assignment on the census, I spent about 15 years working in public transportation, which was an awesome opportunity to work with communities throughout all of Phoenix on an important program such as public transportation, which helps people from all backgrounds get to and from where they need to go. And then now with this job on the census, which comes around once a decade, being able to work on something that truly impacts all of the things that we do as a city. So it's been a great experience and career with the City of Phoenix.
Now, Albert, we know the U.S. Census is mandated by the U.S. Constitution. What does that mean exactly?
You know, since the beginning of us being established as a country, our forefathers put into the Constitution that we would do an enumeration of everyone living in our city. Initially, it was about representation, making sure that we had representation throughout our entire country. And then as that's graduated itself decade over decade, it's not only about representation, but also about the allocation of federal funding, which then directly impacts the social services that we provide to everyone living in our country. So truly the census becomes a lifeline for many things that millions and millions of people depend on every day living in our country, our state, and of course in our city.
And for our city, Phoenix, what are we talking about dollar-wise for that federal funding?
For us as a city, it's absolutely vital. So on an annual basis, it represents about $866 million for programs like after-school programs, our libraries, our graffiti busters, transportation, public safety, and virtually everything that we do as a municipality. So for us, making sure that we have an accurate count, an accurate enumeration of everyone living here is extremely important. So that way we can continue to provide the quality services that makes us the great city we are.
Now, when we talk about an accurate count, when people want to participate in the census, how do they do it?
So this time, there's going to be a couple of new ways that we're excited about, but at the same time have to take caution and patience to make sure people understand. So for the first time in the 2020 census, people will be able to participate in a digital format, meaning on your cell phone, on a tablet, or on your computer at home or where you live. Also, you'll be able to phone in to be able to respond via phone. And for those of us that have participated in the past and still want to use the paper questionnaire, that option will still be available. So now instead of just the one option of a paper format, we actually have multiple options to allow, hopefully, and maximize participation this time around in the 2020 census.
Now, Phoenix is a big city, and we're leaders in innovation, and you've come up with some innovative ways to allow people to participate in the census.
Absolutely. With these new ways of participating, which present opportunities, we also want to make sure that we beefed up our ways of educating people about the ways to participate and the importance to participate. So we are really working hard, especially in our grassroots efforts. We came up with a pretty innovative idea for our census outreach vehicles, which allows us to be very mobile, to get out to hundreds of events and be able to educate thousands of people and have that face-to-face contact, to have these types of conversations. And then also our vehicles are equipped with tablets, so once the form was available, now people can be able to participate and respond to the census at our actual vehicles.
And our viewers should know that these vehicles aren't new vehicles, they're repurposed vehicles.
Yeah, it's really a part of working together as a team between departments. So they were previously public transit vehicles, specifically our dial-a-ride vehicles, and having the background that I mentioned earlier, we worked with our public transit department and we repurposed our dial-a-ride vehicles to now what we're calling our census outreach vehicles. So it's really about having those types of interdepartmental coordinations that helps us be able to do better and create more awareness for the public.
Now, every person that participates in the census, Albert, represents a dollar amount for the city. And you mentioned some of the city services, but tell us more in detail what we get for those census dollars.
You know, for us as a city, again, I talked about the annual amount, which is the 866 that we get collectively, but truly every person counts. At the state level, it represents about $3,000 per person, and then specifically for services we provide as a city, it represents a little over $500 per person. And we mentioned that because we want to make sure people understand every person absolutely counts. We need everyone to participate in order for us to be able to maximize the resources that we have. Again, these are things that people depend on every day, things even as important as our Head Start program, which we know families depend on every day, education. So we really want to make sure that for everyone watching, it is important for everyone that lives in your household to absolutely be counted, especially our little ones.
Exactly. Now, this is a big job, and you've got a great team working with you as well, but what keeps you up at night?
You know, there's probably a few things that keep me up at night. One I mentioned a little earlier is that while we're excited about the opportunities of the new ways to participate with the digital format and being able to call on the phone, we want to make sure that our community, being how large our community is, have the comfort and the education to be able to utilize those new opportunities. And then also we want to never make light of building the relationship and the trust, so that way the community knows what resources are at stake, and that also that they know how we will be able to utilize these funds to be able to provide those services. So those are some of the things that we constantly work on day in and day out to make sure that we have those relationships to maximize participation.
And in terms of maximizing that participation, you've gone out and made people realize that everyone counts, including youngsters, you know, the youth that may have not participated in the last census.
Yeah, we really had to dig into our innovative box on this effort, and we came up with a program called My First Census. And really what it does is try to mirror things such as my child's first day at school or a first holiday as a family, and really building a positive spirit to be able to get people and families excited about counting their children. Unfortunately, decade over decade, as a country, as a state, and even for us as a city, children under 5 have been some of the most undercounted. So we're really utilizing this philosophy of My First Census about building a positive momentum about getting people excited about counting their children and getting children excited about being counted for the first time in something like the census.
All right. Now, Albert, thank you so much for being with us today. Is there anything else that you'd like to say before we finish the show?
I think the thing I would like to leave our viewers with is now's the time. The census is live. We want to make sure that you visit our website, icount2020.info, and participate in the census. It's simple, it's short, and it's easy. It only takes you less than 10 minutes. And again, the resources that it impacts are just absolutely critical for us as a city. So please complete your census today.
In Phoenix, an accurate 2020 census count will help to fund vital resources, programs, and services such as housing, transportation, education, public safety, and much more. For more information about Census 2020, look to the website you see on your screen. Thanks for watching City Update. I'm Chuck Emmert.